Hey, what's going on? This is Frankie B, and here's some more art. You know, this time around we'll be working on some Alterna art sketch cards, and these are gonna be black and white, not too fancy. Got the jams going. Try not to be too loud so you don't hear so you won't be able to hear my lovely voice. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be doing some characters that I am really familiar with. First off, thank you so much for watching this video, and going onto my YouTube channel and subscribing. And then even if you don't subscribe, just the fact that you're sharing, that helps too. So again, it gets people who might not be able to see my artwork, it gets it out in front of their eyes, and they go, hey, I want to go check out this Dreadhead Brothers work, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, these characters right here, the Mighty Mascots, are characters that I had actually concepted for the legendary Keith Gleason. Massey on the side over here, rustling through the first book. I think the first book that I did the comic book sequential art for, and it was for Reckless Psychic Productions. That was the name of Keith's publishing. Actually, I'll show it right here. It's publishing label, and then this was a sampler edition for $2. And you know what? There's no date on this, huh? All right. So anyway, he had commissioned me to develop some characters. He said, Frank, I got this idea for some characters, but based off of the whole myth of the serial characters. This is the idea that I have, and let's see what you can come up with. And I did. I sat down and did some reference and researching a little bit, and then I said, okay, let's see what I can do. And I came up with a lot of different characters, which I'm happy to say have made the transition. So this character right here is, let's see, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes with his mechanized parrot. And he has his sword over here. And then most likely on this side over here, he probably has his, I forgot what they call it, musket? I think that's what they call them, those guns back then. So anyway, the tools of the trade today are going to be, again, my Microns. They're never too far away. As well as my Pentel brush pen, and there's some other stuff. The thing about me is that I am a hoarder of sorts when it comes to pens. I have like cases and cases of just various pens and pencils and other, mostly artists. If it's an artist tool, when it comes to like, drawing tool, then I probably have it. And I keep them. Like that pen right there isn't working anymore. So then immediately I go on to the next one. And the reason why I became somewhat of a hoarder was because, when I was doing a lot of work back in the 90s, mid to late 90s, I was doing a ton of work for ad agencies, and some production studios. And so my key thing was always the sense of running out of, your tools or your supplies. I would run down and, go to Utrecht, or I forgot there was another, when I was living in Boston. I thought there was another one. I know it was Utrecht, but there was another one. The name is escaping me, over near the Sears building. But, my whole thing was like, if you get a gig for like 5 p.m. and they need it for, 6 a.m. the next morning, I can't, at the time I didn't have a car, so I couldn't just run across town and jump on the T. And then I'm losing precious hours, pretty much. That's my point. I'm losing a ton of precious, hours if I had to go and do the shopping and then jump on the T and then, get back home and whatever. It would eat up those hours that I truly need to get the job done. Because remember, it's not the fact of you just doing the artwork. It's the fact that, first off, you got to have some preliminary art, some rough sketches. And then you got to send that off to the art director or creative director. And then they, in turn, have to get back to you. And many times, especially the after hours stuff, if a creative is at home or whatever, you're not there, you're at the mercy. You got to wait. You got to wait until you hear back from them before you can move ahead. So sometimes, even if I, was able to, get the rough images done, say at like, if I got the call at 5 and it took me an hour to get the, whatever it is, storyboards or whatever, say storyboards, then I would literally, be waiting. Sometimes, I would get an art director, and art director would contact me back at 8 o'clock at night. I've had that where it's like, so think about that. It's like I get the call at 5. I finished whatever my rough sketches, and probably I won't even say that because I was pretty fast. So I'll say 5:30. I finished it, and I'll send them off to get reviewed, and then by 8 p.m. and that didn't happen all the time, but most likely it happened enough. And you think about that. So that's at 8 o'clock at night now, mind you. So now I'm not even given the okay to work on final art now, mind you. This is like the art director coming in and applying their notes and saying, okay, we need changes. You're lucky if the art director is like, okay, look, we're cool. This looks amazing. Blah 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 blah. That's a really lucky. Those are I live for those moments. But I'm bracing that I'm not sleeping. So then what would happen is then they would contact me and say, okay, we need more revisions, Frank. So, okay. So now it's 8 o'clock at night. I do my revisions and I send them in 8:40. Let's say that, 8:40. So then now I got to wait, praying that this art director hasn't, I don't know, whatever, that they're going to get back to me in another hour or so. So I get contacted back at 10. So now it's like, okay, I know the sleep is not coming because they're going to need this for their meeting. They could be, I think the team could be flying to wherever the main client is, to whatever city, maybe even overseas, and they need this stuff. So I now know that I'm going to have to hunker down, and it's going to be a very, very late night. But that's the way it was, And you know what? I look back at that, and I'm so grateful that I experienced that. It helped me. It truly did help me to understand that there's a level of business, there's a level of professionalism that I myself truly admire. The fact that, that I'm being respected and paid for what I'm asking for. Like my rate is being answered, sometimes even above and beyond. There's times when I've done jobs where I got paid more. Like they were like, no, we're gonna give you more. I mean, isn't that crazy? Do you even imagine? Can you imagine a client actually saying, look, you did such a great job, we want to offer you more. But that sometimes happens, I'm not making it up. And that was always wonderful. That to me made me want to be like, okay, I want to work with these guys numerous times. And I did. All right. So anyway, when it came to the Mighty Mascots, overall, Keith really dug them. He dug the designs and stuff like that. I did the sequential pages and stuff for the first round. And then there was going to be a plan for issue 2. But, because of circumstances, I was unable to do it. I mean, at that time, I can't recall what assignment I was on, but it was big. It was like, I think I was working on as always, and I've said so in previous videos, as a commercial illustrator, you're not just working on one gig. You're working on numerous gigs, man. The thing about it is that you're shuffling. I always tell people I have a war calendar. My war calendar is me just shuffling through to see which client I gotta get, who needs a deadline first. If I'm fortunate if I have a client who's like, okay, we don't need this in 6 months, then that's great. I can breathe, I can sigh a little bit. That gives me a little breathing room. But then you have clients who are like, hey, we need this. So that is the life of the freelancer, man. You got to learn how to juggle your work and make sure that every client gets what you promised them. That's always been my mission. So unfortunately, it was very hard for me because I really thought I was going to be able to work with Keith on doing some Mighty Mascot stuff, but it just didn't happen. So I told him, I said, hey man, you got to do what you got to do and stuff, and which he did, and that's when he got picked up by Alterna, and he got a tremendous artist. Let me just say this right now: there's always that point when you start something with somebody, and you go, oh man. As me as an artist and I'm visual, my only hope was that it was going to be somebody who, in my opinion, could at least excel past what I was doing. If they were doing close to what I was doing, or if they can excel, then I would be really, really happy. It makes me even more happy, and then I know, okay. And I'll tell you one thing, Keith nailed it. And finding Ian, I'm not even going to try to attempt to do Ian's last name. I don't want to even bastardize it. I don't want to destroy it. But Ian, and I remember reaching out to Ian. I actually purchased some original artwork from him. I love his work. I love his take on the characters. I said, if you need anything, just, let me know. He definitely has taken the mascots to another level, which I want, As any person that's ever worked on something, and help be a part of it, you should want it to evolve. Even if you're not part of it, even if you're not part of its continuing development, that's okay. Like I have the pages that I worked on. I have the original concept art and stuff like that. And I have these rare moments when I can just sort of go back to these characters and just, remember that magic when I was working on them. I'm part of the Mighty Mascot mytho, and I hope that that the team, that they can take it really far. Like I would love to see this be evolve even further. If in toy form, other forms of merchandising, I know Keith is very fortunate. Keith had he did a cereal box, which I did the illustration for. So I want to see it evolve. And be like, yeah, I got to be a part of that. I think that kind of, because I worked so long in advertising, it kind of hardwired me to think in that term of us. Like clearly there is me, but there's also this us thing. When I'm working on a project, a team, I'm not thinking about just me. I'm thinking about the team in whole. That what we're doing here is trying to create something, but it's taking all these different components, all these different people with different skill sets and stuff to make it happen. So I don't have that sense where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be jealous because he's so. No, I don't have any of that. For me, the only small thing I ask from anything that I work on is that the person next to me, my teammate, if I'm giving 200%, they're giving 200%. I want this to succeed. There's no things that I look at and I go, I don't want it to succeed. Like who even thinks like that? I don't get it, man. Well, yeah. I think it's just funny because I would never do somebody like that. Many times I've worked on stuff. There's times when I've done work for people and I was like, man, I did more work than what I felt like I got paid for. And never in the history, never did I ever go online and blast them or whatever. I think I did it. Actually, that's untrue. I did it once where it dealt with another artist who I commissioned. And this artist had a history of doing this kind of stuff. And I grapple with it. You don't even know, like I sat there and I grapple with it because there's that part of me where I'm like, this isn't right. But for this particular artist, I knew. And I said, as soon as I get that piece, I'm never going to get anything from this dude ever again. But do I need to make a big announcement about it? No. This is the only time I've ever spoken about it. It's been years. Because to me, I believe in the business etiquette. I do. I think that you should be able to discuss stuff with somebody. And if it doesn't work, then you move on. You don't, for me, what are you getting by trying to rub something through the room? You already know how it went. Honestly, if you just came out and said, look, I'm going to resell this piece and whatever, and that's it, then it would have been done. But somehow, me personally, I don't get it. I don't get that stuff. I don't know that need or desire to be like, okay, I gotta do my own skewed view, my own view on the whole thing, and then get into this whole tirade. I find it a waste of time. I find it kind of exhausting because it's like kind of like there's a lot of wasted time. In that amount of time, you could have had an auction up and you could have been, putting that card up to somebody who may want it. And hopefully you can recoup it if you don't like it that much. But the fact that you had to put this big tirade about it, it's like that just showed me. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. I knew right after the thing, I said, oh, no. That's why I have a lot of clients. That's why I work with various people. You see my posting. There's a reason why you reached out to me, you know. And I would have made it right. I would have just gave you an image of what that thing is. I wouldn't have been sitting there with my feelings or whatever. You're the one who brought up that whole feeling thing, which I thought was laughable. I am not in that whole feely kind of, I don't even know what that is. I don't even, I find that that's something that's harmed more artists than done anything. Let's see. Oh, did I just go on a rant? Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I went on a rant. I just had something. This is my mind just sort of flaking out and stuff, and I do apologize. I really do. I just had an event happen this morning, and you know what it is? My mind is still sort of on it, and I should be on the art. And let me apologize again. Oh, I just lost myself right there in a personal little rant. Isn't that crazy? Let me get back to the art. So anyway, let's see. This is Horatio. And when I envision him, definitely like this powerful built swashbuckler kind of character. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right. There's going to be a lot of cards. There's going to be a few cards. I don't know if I'm going to do as much today, though. These cards will actually be available for the auction. Yeah, there's going to be an Alterna auction on this coming up this Saturday, and I got some pieces that are definitely going to be going up. And these are just going to be Alterna, like, characters that are in the Alterna sort of, sphere. I don't know if there's an actual Alterna universe. I know a couple of the creators have sort of danced around with the concept, but I don't know if they have an actual, like, the MCU has a MCU universe. So it's definitely a creator. Let's see. Okay, let's bring the old trusty straight edge or ruler, whatever you want to call it. So used to my teacher calling it like a straight edge. Oh, grab that straight edge, Washington. Like, okay, yes sir, yes sir. No, I don't want to scare people. It wasn't like a boot camp, but again, my teachers were very professional when I was in art school. And I don't know what that means to certain people. Like if I tend to gravitate toward a more structured kind of approach in doing things, so it doesn't bother me. Like if somebody was like, hey, you got to do this, such and such, and whatever, then I get it done. And also I love the fact of thinking outside the box. Like I don't need somebody to hold my hand to tell me what to do. I'll ask them, be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, and then if I make a mistake, I'll own up to the mistake and be like, okay, I can do better next time. So I've always had that kind of viewpoint where I'm like, okay, just, I'll take a chance with stuff. All right, folks. I'll tell you one thing, drawing is really therapeutic. I remember when I was doing therapy years ago, and my therapist suggested that. They said, well, Frank, what made you happy? And immediately I went back to, like I said, well, I used to ride my bike with my friends and stuff. And then I used to love going on long walks and stuff, and just, finding new things if I could. It's discovery. And then also just drawing. Drawing has always been a peaceful, therapeutic thing. Anytime things would be on my mind or whatever. And just like that moment when I just had that rant, that small rant, I would go back to the art. The art in itself would help just allow my mind to get some nervous energy out. And that's what it is. Just getting that nervous energy out so you're not allowing something that could be toxic to sort of, fester in your brain and stuff, in your consciousness. Yeah, I don't want stuff to fester because it's not that important. And when you look at the scheme of things, just like I sit there and I go, oh, it's not important. It's not. I'm giving it way too much importance in my life. That was what my therapist would tell me. He was like, you know, don't allow something to have too much unnecessary importance. Just keep on stepping on, you know what I mean? All right. This is a pretty cool character, man. It's weird when I don't know if anybody else out there has ever, like, if you created a character and then you go, man, you haven't drawn that character in years. That's kind of like where I'm at right now, where looking at these characters and just going, oh man, you know, I have not drawn these characters. And now I'm prepping for my new project, which it is. I'm very excited. I'm nervous too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm no Superman, so there's that sense where, you know, we got Kajis versus Cowboys, and you know, we got picked up by a publisher, and then it's like we got the Kickstarter that's happening next month, and whew, yeah, there's that little nervous. But I've always found, like, for me, fear doesn't paralyze me. Like, it doesn't paralyze. What it does is that I have the moment of it's the excitement, the awareness, and then there's that joy, that excitement, just like, okay, I want to get going. Let's get this going. It's that same kind of energy that got me to climb Mount Katahdin, you know, and make it to the summit. You know, I talk to Jess and tell her about sometimes trying to talk her ears off on it, but I'm glad that I experienced that moment of doing that. I wouldn't do it again. I did it, but it's a great memory. I have the photograph of me at the summit and stuff, and it just, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that I didn't allow fear, especially, like, I had a fear of heights. I was fighting my fear of heights for years, but that became my biggest leap of faith, was climbing Katahdin. You know, and I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I experienced that moment. That was one of the moments, I would say, where, again, it just helped shape my life, and, you know, and my viewpoints to the point that I'm at today, or how I view on certain things. I think that you can't allow fear to stop you in a way where you can't do anything. You go, oh man, I can't do this or that, or you start getting into your head and you're like, why can't I draw like this person or whatever? No, you have to keep going forward, and you have to not compare yourself to anybody else. I don't compare myself to anyone. I just do my art. If a client likes my work, then I get paid. You know, I don't get paid. It's as simple as that. I learned a long time ago just to simplify everything. Just be like, don't try to build this into this massive novel, and, you know, sort of filled with drama and stuff like Shakespearean. Like, oh my God, you can get this thing because of it. And it's like you sometimes I hear people talk about stuff and I go, oh my God, this sounds like I'm looking at reading a play or something. It's like, no, it could be just simple little factors, little things that might have, you know, just because maybe you just weren't right for the gig. You know, maybe this wasn't the right thing. Those are the thoughts that go to my head. I go, well, it just wasn't right. I guess I gotta move on. So see what's next. All right. Well, I've been yapping and I can't, let me see the time. Oh man, 23 minutes. Woo. I don't know if you guys are gonna stay that long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now switch over to hyperlapse. This is gonna be another one of my mashup videos. And again, I just wanna thank you for just, you know, coming in here and watching my videos and just putting the word out and really helping me out a lot. You don't have to do that. I mean, that's the thing. I'm very conscious of that, is that people do stuff because they want to do it. And I would hope that that's the reason why you come on and you look at my stuff and whatever. And just even the comments. I love hearing the comments as well. People, if you look through some of my other comments, I definitely will respond when the time, you know, comes up and stuff. But anyway, just thank you. And also forgive me for my little rant. I'm human. So, you know, it happens. But anyway, let's keep that art flowing.